Good evening everybody, hello and welcome to OTL Racing here on Twitch for round number 4 of our GT4 league here on ACC tonight at the wonderful Kyalami, the South African track. And yeah, it should be a great watching these close class of car, a bit more competitive than you may see in the GT3s, so it should be a good fun. Hope you're all well. They're just coming to the end of practice and then we will get underway. A few cars still out on track, but we'll go on board with one of them now. Let's go and watch. Oh no, never mind, he's not moving. He's on track. You have to give me that. He's just not going anywhere. Thank you, Matt. I'm so glad you would oblige. Well timed. So just the end of quali. Evening, J Hig. How you doing, man? So I hope you're well. So just as I said, last few minutes, we've got a few drivers still to pop into the lobby that are not here yet. But yeah, it's good fun track this. Bite you if you get it wrong, but rewarding. It's a lovely track. It's another superb ACC track as well. All done so superbly well, such high quality. All of the tracks, especially the DLC tracks on ACC. Go on board with Lucas Versa, so currently out on track. Quickest in practice. So see him in a few other leagues, in our race room leagues as well. BMW M Power is his name. Hopefully the stream will be okay this evening as well. A few internet funnies, but yeah, hopefully tonight will be all All good in the hood, nice and smooth. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how this GT4 handles around Kyalami. It's a fun track in the GT3. In GT4 it's fascinating to see how this handles. It's a shame we've got as many no-shows as we have, but yeah, I think a fair few people with decent reasons, a few taking the mick a little bit, and that yeah, that won't be happening any longer. I can guarantee you that. If you sign up for a league, you should be expected to turn up for the league, and if you can't, to let people know why, or at least let people know. So yeah, shame if they can't. Says much more about the people, really. But hey ho, still could have some good fighting here this evening. So some quick cars on track. So up to 14 now, so creeping in slowly. So a few more minutes of practice before they get into quality for race number 1. 15-minute race, the first race, and then half an hour for the second. So they are obviously coming back into the pits. A few of them still out on track. John Clements, the PSR driver. See how he fares this evening. Lovely white and green number, lovely light livery, easy to spot. Using all of the road and then some of the wall too. Not what he wants to do. So yeah, there's a few people here in practice but aren't in the lobby at the moment, which is odd. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Svolomir Burek and Ivan Svalina still out on track currently. And that is that. So yeah,
green light. Give it all you can.
It'll be interesting to see if we get anyone else showing up, because it's not everyone's showing up on my timing board there. That's apparently in the lobby. So yeah, this will be interesting. So just to 14 at the moment. Hopefully a couple more will show up. 17 are signed in for tonight. Daniel Smith, there we are. Double checking there. I was letting a couple of him turn up on my streaming tool. So no, all good. He is here. Put on a show. Well, if it's her birthday today, then that's kind of fair enough. You have to say that. You know, if you have to miss one here and there for stuff like that, that's, you know, enjoy it, dude. Just have a nice time, have a nice meal, chill, don't stress or anything, and yeah, just have a nice time, man. No need to worry about anything this end. It's a fun track, but yeah, it is what it is. So 17 signed in. Clearly, not all of them here. So, a couple of minutes into quali now. Should start seeing the times coming in. Oh, it was yesterday. Oh, okay. That's something. Oh, leg, that's so antisocial. It's not even funny. Poor things. Let's take Martin out on a nice meal. We'll, you know, just have a chat and see how each other are doing. Not talking to you. Headphones in. Get stuffed. Yeah. Each their own. Each their own. So I should see some times coming in relatively shortly. It's a fun track as Kyalami. I do, from a broadcast point of view, it's one of my favourites, to be honest. Especially that view you get going up the hill through the S's up towards Leo Cup and then down mine shaft all the way back down the hill into the final section of the lap. So lovely looking thing. So this is up to Leo Cup now. Let's go on board actually. Well, let's go on the other on board. Don't want to be looking backwards. So look at that lovely view, especially at sunset. It looks beautiful. And then fast left. Keep it pinned hopefully through there. Into the crocodiles. Lovely, lovely now a few corners around here. And then this second to, well, you go through this slight bend, but down into the second to last corner. A tricky right-hander, little kink in the track called Cheetah. Very awkward little kink there. That takes a bit of practice to know how it's best to get it right for you and your car. And around the final corner, Ingvi. So we should be setting a lap time. So Lucas Wurzel as well, 150.712. Just under half a second between him and John Clements. So not a bad lap from either of them. Let's go on board with Kieran Sharp, getting a bit wiggly there. Final corner for him, coming through in the Porsche. Hopefully that stayed valid. What time does he set? Well, 2 seconds off, so 152.728. So a fair bit of time to be found yet for him. I know how quick he is around here as well, so I'm sure you can find that. Dean Thompson. It's bubblegum racing. It was very, yeah, bubblegum coloured car, so you can have that. Smudge for the win. That's interesting. Fair enough, Leg. Yeah, I understand that. It's a bit difficult when 3 of you work there as well. Was it 3 of you that work there or just 2? But yeah, either way, it's a bit hard to avoid, isn't it, really? Yeah, so Dean Thompson. Let's see how he can fare this evening. In the Aston, we've got Sean Simmons having a bit of a weekend break off in the gravel. So that's not going to be a quick lap. That'll take some getting around and cleaning off those tyres a little bit. Got Dean Cumberbatch. Welsh Tech Racing, lovely. In the Audi. Yeah, all 3 of you. So yeah, that's not. I can't imagine that's much fun. Can't really avoid talking about it, can you? So Cumberbatch, hopefully he'll have a good evening tonight. A good race, couple of races, 15-minute and 30-minute races this evening, both with 10-minute qualifying sessions before. Let's go on board with the current championship leader. We seem to be joining a lot of cars at that corner, very weird. So this is Aidan Bro. Gets past that car, let him pass, that's good stuff. So in the Audi, current championship standings leader, 330 points, he's 37 clear from Luke Fletcher, who's not able to make it this week. By the looks of things. Same 3rd place, not able to make it tonight either, Tristan Bullwinkle. He missed the first week, but he's won both races last week. Absolutely slaughtered the field in his Maserati. We've got Zvonimir Burek in 4th, just ahead of Matt Acton in 5th. Kieran Sharp in 6th, wasn't able to race last week, not well, so that's unfortunate. So that lost him a fair few points. He'd probably be up in 3rd at the moment, I would imagine, maybe even 2nd. We have Lucas Verza, so he's had a couple of wins this season and had a terrible week last week and had a DNF in one of the races the week before. Other 3 races have all been podium finishes. Oh, hello, that's a interesting bit of connection issues there for a second. Hopefully that doesn't get worse, but we will see. I think that was the game's end rather than mine, so fingers crossed that stays, you know, doesn't crap its pants, but we will see. Wouldn't be surprised if it does after trying to stream on Tuesday. That did not go well. Scramble with Daniel Smith. Oh, kind of back. Yeah, let's pretend we didn't see that. So, oh yeah, so look at that. It looks like Aiden. So is he still in the session, or did he? Yeah, so he back. So he's had to back out though. So starting again. So I think Aiden might be having connection issues. So he's got a couple of minutes left to get back in. Dan Smith in 7th at the moment, only 10th behind Kieran Sharp. We'd expect Kieran Sharp to improve. He's quite a lot up on his best time so far, nearly a second actually. We've moved him up ahead of Matt Axon, but he wants to gain more. Needs to get ahead of Joe LaCour, Sean Simmons, John Clements. He knows he can mingle with that crowd for sure. So yeah, somewhere he's not quite gaining the time we know he's capable of at the moment. So last corner, last couple of corners that we're on board with him. Going around the final 10. Stay as close as you can to that wall. Put your foot down as early as possible. Floor it to the line. So this will jump him up nicely. Will it get into 3rd possibly? Oh, he does, yes. So just under 3/4 of a second back off of Lucas Vertz's pole time. So Vertz in the Aston Martin looking superb again. Ah yes, let's go and watch Joe crash, or Joe quit, either or. So Joe, currently in 5th at the moment, just under a second from pole position. 1 minute and 15 seconds left, so not long to go now. Hopefully Aiden can get back in. Can't see him yet. So end of his lap, off again. Is he improving on his time? He is, but only slightly. Sean Simmons ahead of him, but Sean Simmons improving by a couple of tenths at the moment. So by the looks of things, he may gain this position and then lose it again straight away. So yeah, decent final 10 from Joe LaCour. But that beamer flying down the hill, coming into the last few corners. So Dean Thompson just a bit further up the road. Hasn't got a valid lap time in quite yet. I mean, Aidenborough is back with us as well. Great stuff. So we've got Sean Simmons come round towards the line. So the flag is out. John Clements is done. So is Burek, Williams and Bush. Sean Simmons, he will improve. Oh, by a good chunk as well. Nearly taking 2nd place from Clements, but no, he finishes up in 3rd. John Clements still out on track. Yep, I'm picking cars that are there a lot. No, and that'll be his lap done. So that is him for quali. It definitely is. Oh, ouch! Yeah, don't do that in the race. That'll be toast very quickly if you do that. So Vertz are coming up towards the cup, but does not need to improve. Pretty much everyone else in the pits. Yeah, no, everyone bar Dean Thompson is done. So Dean Thompson still needs to get a lap time in. So he's just probably been invalidating a few laps. It looks, they haven't looked too bad. So maybe just going slightly too wide at certain corners. But it's not the easiest circuit, so there's no shame in that. So will he finish the lap? I think he'll be hoping to. So very wide there, using all of the road. Wonder how much practice he's had on this track. I don't know how often Dean has actually driven Kyalami. We wouldn't have driven it on any other game that we drive. So this might literally be his... This could easily, if he hasn't had a chance to practice, which is every chance he hasn't. Evening Nath, evening Mam. Yeah, on board with Crampy at the moment. Mr. Dean Thompson, Captain Crampy in our Xbox Leagues and in the Discord. And comes around the final corner. Hopefully setting a valid time. And even if it's a slow lap, a valid lap will do. Aidenborough didn't get a time in the end, did not after he got back in the lobby, so he'll be starting from the back. Dean Thompson does move it forward a little bit, not too bad. Oof, 3 seconds left. So, yes, he got in, did Mr. Bro, but not by much. So, there we go. Let's look at timetable. So, fastest 2 sectors, first and second, from Mr. Vertzer and Clements with the fastest final sector. But it'll be interesting. That mid-pack always close, but Lucas Vertzer, cracking qualifying from him there. So, it's my boy. Yeah, it's a good showing there. It's a smaller grid than we'd have hoped for. A couple of drivers that have signed in but not made it to the race, so that'll be interesting to find out why. And there we go. Now that is a very, very close camera. Not as close. Let's go to Helicam. Lovely. So yeah, this oh, and look at that toilet block in the back. If any drivers, you've got 2 minutes 45. If you need a quick toilet break, you hop out over that little orange bollard there, climb that fence somehow, get over that fence without hurting yourself or ripping your overalls. Quick bit of relief and out you come. Evening Rapids. Hello dude, how are you man? Supporting I reckon Mr. Aiden Bro. I'm gonna guess, that's where I'll see you most of the time Rapids, in his chat. Hope you're doing well, hope you've had a good day. Yeah, interesting to see how this race goes. So there's Aiden, poor thing, at the back. Marooned a little bit on his own. Yeah. So yes, he's definitely obviously got the pace, current championship leader. Connection issues for him earlier, but has made it back into the race. So yeah, fingers crossed for him. He'll have a good showing. Yeah, well I think sometimes it'll just be about how handled. It's not the easiest circuit. I mean, no circuit is particularly the easiest circuit, but you know, I think it's sort of one of those ones where if you're not comfortable with it, doesn't the car can if you're really comfortable with it and you have the quickest car, cracking. You're going to be hard to beat. Look at Bullwinkle last week around Spa in his Maserati. Couldn't really touch him, especially first race. Yes, that Audi's going to be alongside a few other cars. He's going to have to be patient first few corners. Don't worry about trying to get past everybody at the start. He has got the pace on the cars in front of him. He will be able to get up to the mid-pack within a few laps, 2-3 laps, I'm sure. He just wants to be careful not to get caught up in anything, someone else's spin or mistake. That might, you know, don't want to get tapped around. You see that a lot. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Clean for him and everybody else at the start. So that geezer with the green flag in the background. It's very eager for them to get started. See his mate in the background with the purple flag. Don't know what that means. I think he's a Barney the dinosaur supporter, I'd imagine. I don't know how many heads that reference has gone over. So, just under 30 seconds to go now. Said first race, 15 minutes, second race, another 10-minute quali, and then a 30-minute race. So let's go back on board. We will hopefully catch a bit of Aiden after the race has started. But hopefully it will be nice and clean for everybody involved. There we go. So there is the track cameras. Might go back to the Helicam. Depends on how good this view is. We'll see. So there we go. Countdown is finished. Short little formation lap, not full formation lap in the GT4s. We would be here all night. Let's go back on board with Helicam. Gives us a nice view. So it's just the last couple of corners here. John Clements alongside. That's very familiar with each other. Sean Simmons in the BMW will be third on the right-hand side of your screen at the moment, left of the grid. Kieran Sharp in the orange and black Porsche alongside him, behind Mr. John Clements. So they'll have to work their way into formation. Hopefully no drive-throughs this evening. So they come down to the line and they are off, and it looks like no one got a penalty, so good stuff. They can go racing. You see Lucas Vertzer already covering off that gap behind him to John Clements. Does not want to give him any space. Kieran Sharp though under attack. You can see from the blue McLaren of Joe LaCour, a little bit wiggling in the background. Everyone looks like they're trying to take it gently round turn number 1. But that's a great start from Vertzer. He's really made a bit of a break already. A little tap in the background. That was, I think, Burek was involved there. Oh, little touch from him as well on Crampy. But somehow I think they've just about muddled their way through there. I think there was a little bump between a few cars, but somehow they've all sort of pinballed and ended up pointing in the right direction. Evening Chaos. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I don't want to see a car off in the background. So that is, well, that's John Clements. So second position. Let's go find him. So what happened there? Let's go back and see if we can catch it. Oh, he's just... He's come so far wide, really. I think that was Kieran Sharp behind him. I don't think he really had anywhere he could go there by the looks of things, to me. Kieran Sharp can't just end up driving on the grass. I think John Clements, unfortunately, though, has just driven a bit too far across track and just clipped the car alongside him. I think that was Sharp. And yeah, to my eye, it didn't look like Sharp really had anywhere to go. Aidan Bro, I don't think has had a great start. So he's clearly had some issues at the start somewhere. Oh, easy. But yeah, he is down in 15th, but he is 4 seconds off of John Clements, who was spun. So, I know it's 44. So what's happened there? Rapids, any update? Because I know you're probably in Aid stream at the moment. So 44 seconds. What's happened to him? He said obviously he could get an incredible launch. Has he got caught up in something? Because we can't go back and check that on the replay now. So that's a shame. We'll have to see how he does. Hopefully he can. I mean, it's 44 seconds. There's fairly little chance he's going to catch the rest of the pack. Okay, hopefully he'll continue for the rest of the race. Get the points. He needs to get those points. They'll all add up. Points we normally for ACC we do points for his 32 place grid in case there is that many drivers there, which normally there is more than this, but yeah, smaller grid, so they'll take advantage of that this week. Sean Simmons in second, obviously with Clements being further back. Joe LaCour in third at the moment. Kieran Sharp just behind him, so good start from LaCour. Ah, yeah, fair play. Oh, that would make sense. Fair point, Rapids. Yeah, well, something's happened there, and I'm not sure what. That's a massive shame, but hopefully he'll continue to the end. We'll still get him some good points. And they really, really do add up. So, Joe LaCour trying to do his best to catch Sean Simmons ahead. Sean Simmons has been putting in some good showings recently. Consistent podium finisher. Kieran Sharp not far behind, no. Just over a second behind him. So I know he's good in it, but he's very comfortable in that Porsche. He's good round Kyalami. So he will have hopes for at least catching the core in front of him. Simmons now 2.2 ahead. You can still see him. They are all on the straight still, but yeah, that's a shorter race in GT4. It's not the quickest cars. Bit of a train behind now. We've got, looks like Burek now has got ahead of Cumberbatch. Then we've got Ivan Svalina and Daniel Smith just behind him in the pink Porsche. Got Reese Williams. Got a few bubblegum coloured cars in this league. Franco Soussange as well, with Dean Thompson just behind him. Well, looks like Thompson making the move up the inside as Franco goes a little bit wide. Thompson leaving him a little bit of room just in case. Oh, that's all of that sausage curd. Does give a bit of a smack. Didn't look like he's lost too much time considering. I think Soussange hit it as well. Sebastian Bush. Lovely looking car, if I say so myself, Seb. Nice livery. Just behind him in 12th. Matt Axon in 13th. Not quite doing as well as you could hope this week, but that's a slightly bruised looking car. So, wonder if that's what we've missed there. It wasn't a proper crash. I mean, he hasn't had a crash, really. Sharpie. He was wide on the right hand side of the track. I think John's come out of the corner and come in wider, and it's just hit, his rear has come across on the back of the front of Kieran's car. I think that was only just seeing it one replay, so maybe wrong. But I'm not sure really Kieran had anywhere to go, to be honest. So it's a massive shame for Clements. He's been having a superb championship so far. So might lose out by a few points this race, but we'll just have to hope for better in race number 2 later this evening, in about 20 minutes time after the next qualifying. So Kieran Sharp is closing on Joe LaCour, down to about 6.5 tenths now. Especially going to get a nice drag down this hill here. Yeah, just under half a second now, so he's close enough that Joe is going to have to start thinking about defending. Lucas Versa up front, Sean Simmons though, a couple of seconds between them, and then another couple of seconds back to these two. Kieran Sharp is all over the back of Joe LaCour now. So this is the view back out of Joe LaCour's Cornwall Racing Team McLaren. Indeed, yeah, no, I find it interesting sometimes you do see very different form as well. But I think some people just struggle around here. Especially in the GT4s, some people just struggle around Kyalami. So nice and close between these two. But Joe doing a good job at the moment, just holding them back. Maxon's very much a bruised car. Just seeing if he did any more dents. I think it said he had an accident with something, but it said only him. So I imagine he's had a bit of an off, maybe with a wall. So Soussan's just behind Dean Thompson still. Those guys still quite close. Sebastian Bush, you saw John Clements there, and just in the background of white and green car, trying to recover, get as many points as he can tonight. Rhys Williams in the blue and pink car, the first blue and pink car here, behind Daniel Smith's pink Porsche. Cumberbatch driving well, just in front of them, in 7th at the moment. Ivan Svalina, or Cumberbatch going a bit wide, it's a bit too much curb. Allows Daniel Smith to get closer to the back of him. So Svalina doing well in 6th, holding those guys back. Well, saying that, that's yeah, that might get him a track warning. That looked like a slightly ambitious cut. Don't think he meant that, but yeah, got that turned in a little bit early. We'll get a bit deeper there. Doesn't hit the back of Daniel Smith though, thank the Lord. So it looks squirrely that does that Porsche under Williams' hands. Hopefully they'll keep it nice and tidy on track. Nearly halfway through this first race. Well, that's Daniel Smith. Oh, Rhys Williams are not quite judging that. Daniel Smith having to go sort of narrow on the corner there. And Rhys Williams coming all guns blazing. And then was like, hang on a minute. There's a... Yeah, cheers, man. There's a car on my line. Where do I go? And yeah, so just unfortunately hadn't really his awareness not quite there. Just didn't foresee that. And yeah, so that's lost him time. He's dropped back a bit back down towards his compatriot in the weird colour stakes, Mr. Dean Thompson. So Lucas Verts to look at that 4.2 second lead now. So a great drive for the first half of this race. Best lap of 150.022, as you can see. Only driver in the 50s, apart from Aidan Brough, who's at the very back of the pack. Still going though. He's a long, long way off, but he's giving it the beans, using it as a bit of a test session, I'd imagine. And fair play to him if he is. Kieran Sharp still all over the back of Joe LaCour. So you'll see Joe is definitely very much going to have to be on the defensive a little bit. He knows that Kieran Sharp isn't going to go for anything overly aggressive, anything silly, but he will need to make a move, or LaCour not getting a good drive out of that corner. You could hear Kieran there just putting his foot down as hard as possible, because he saw that mistake and was like, right, this is my opportunity. I need to try and get alongside here. Yeah, just has to go the long way around the outside though. We'll get on the power a little bit earlier than LaCour. So coming down the hill, a bit of a wiggle onto the curb there. So Joe LaCour, yeah, very much going narrow. So yeah, Kieran Sharp doing the right thing. Goes wider, gives himself a wider line. Joe LaCour though holding on the apex a little bit, just clever driving if so. Kieran then not being able to plant the throttle, go back up to speed and take advantage of that different entrance angle. See both nailing the apexes, so there's not really much opportunity here for Kieran Sharp. All he can do is keep concentrating on his own thing and then cross his fingers that Joe maybe makes a mistake. But no sign of that as of yet. You can see Sean Simmons up in the distance, so that's about 4 and a bit seconds, 4.5 seconds last timing line. Go on board with Svonimir Burek, so he's a little bit behind these guys, but driving fairly well, back in 5th. Svalina back in 6th, is another nearly 7 seconds back. He's got Dean Cumberbatch though, and Daniel Smith and Rhys Williams right on his tail. Dean Thompson and Soussan's as well trying to join in. Nice little bit of a slide there, coming out of the corner, laying down some rubber. But Cumberbatch still on his tail. There's a Daniel Smith in behind him too, trying to keep this close. Go back on board with John Clements. He's got past Soussange, so he's now trying to close into Dean Thompson. So driving well, trying to get those places back. So just over 4 minutes remaining now. Dean Thompson not far in front of him at all. That train of cars in front as well. So there's plenty of points to be picked off still. You see Reece Williams just after that little off earlier, coming to the same corner where that happened as well. And then Daniel Smith, right in behind Cumberbatch and Svalina as well. So 7th and 6th, just ahead of him. Some good points on offer here. Burek a little bit too far up the road really for them to be able to catch. Let's go back on board with Kieran Sharp and Joe LaCour though. There's that fight getting closer. It's 3.5 tenths at the last line. So just Kieran Sharp doing all he can, but Joe not making any mistakes. Certainly not large enough mistakes for Kieran to be able to just drive past. Even when he gets out of a corner poorly, he's just doing enough to get his elbows out and not give Kieran any easy opportunities. Just parking his car in the right place, defending the line. And it looks like he's still doing that now. Let's go back on board again. So might look the long way round. Joe LaCour having to go tight to the apex. Kieran looks like he's going to decide to slot in anyways. Joe again will go defensive. You can see those narrow lines Joe's having to take now. It's going to give Kieran this opportunity. You can see he tried to nail that apex. Just got a little bit loose. Does not enable him to have the drive out that he was looking for. Coming through the S's though. Come back to the top of the hill. So nails that apex beautifully using all of the road. Getting that, you can hear when he puts his foot down, it stays down. Joe still taking those narrow lines. He is very much on the defensive. He knows. I mean, from there, Kieran Sharp isn't going to be making any moves. He always gets a poor exit out of the turn down the hill, though, out of Leah Cup. But he's recovered that remarkably well, really. He had to as well, otherwise he was a sitting duck there for sure. You can see Kieran Sharp is pushing this as hard as he can now. Yeah, he's getting that turned in nice and early. See how much earlier he was on the brakes than Joe LaCour. Using a little bit of run off there. But you can hear on the gearing as well. Didn't want to change gear there. Get a bit of wheel spin and spin it. So it's lost him a couple of tenths. So coming around the final corner. So it will be... should be 2 more laps. So we'll have 1 more lap after the one they've just started. So penultimate lap for these guys. Let's go back on board with the train we were on board with a little bit earlier. So Cumberbatch, that looks like. So Svalina there, Daniel Smith there has got ahead there. So Smith into 7th. There we go. Cumberbatch down into 8th. Reece Williams just behind him. John Clements as well, getting past Dean Thompson. So Clements one of the quickest guys on the grid. Just unlucky he's there due to that little indiscretion earlier. Did look more unlucky than anything else. I think Sharp very much looked like he was the car that was hit rather than doing the hitting. Just unfortunate for John that, yeah, he come off second best. It's a bit of a shame. So definitely got the pace. So this fight going on for most of the race so far. Or a little tap there from John Clements, I think, on the back of Reece. And John, I think, just trying to let Reece go. Doesn't a fair play to him there. That's, you can see very clearly he felt bad because he knows he pushed Reece wide. So then he's tried to let Reece go and only rejoined once he's got going. So fair play, good fair play. That rule might be going from here soon. Waiting for the car you've hit kind of thing, because I think in a lot of situations it ends up just being more dangerous than good sportsmanship. So it can create more problems than it solves. No, back on board with the front run. Let's just go on board actually with Lucas Vertzer at the front. So yeah, 10 seconds left. So we will have 1 more lap. Let's come back on board with Joe LaCour though. Kieran Sharp. This battle for the final podium position. LaCour driving superbly so far, getting defensive when he needs to, but without costing himself loads of time. So can he get rid of the nasty nicknames and have a good last lap here? None of this Joe LaQuit or Joe LaCrash. Kieran Sharp will be giving this everything he's got final lap. So Edinburgh has closed in from the back of the pack a huge amount, about 25 seconds. So he's driven very well. Place it, I know we would have put him on the podium, I reckon. But Vertzer, yeah, he's I mean, he's quick. BMW M Power, so as we've seen him in other championship, Mr. Vertzer. Absolutely rapid. Unfortunately, he hasn't had the most camera time, but that's what happens when you're too fast. If you don't let anyone drive near you, look, boring. Nothing's happening. So, no, it's a great drive from Lucas. Sean Simmons, likewise, been driving really well in this championship. Really consistent. Joe LaCour. Oh, that is a very close, Porsche. Much closer than he would like. Zvonimir not that far back either. So going to get a bit twitchy here. Kieran Sharp again, just trying to go for that wide angle, just give himself a chance if Joe was to go slightly deep or come out wide on the exit. But he's just doing a really good job here of covering off any lines that Kieran Sharp could even think about going for. So let's come back on board with these guys in a minute. We'll go on board with Lucas first. So coming around the final couple of corners. Absolutely dominant drive. He's been superb so far in this GT4 Championship. Started tonight down in 7th after last week's dismal race. Dismal weekend, sorry, entirely. But he comes over the line and he takes a superb win. Well done there, Lucas. Superb driving. Sean Timmons, another great podium finish. Great driving from you there. Well done. And Joe LaCour will hang on to that podium spot. And there you are, Kieran Sharp coming home in 4th. Good flash there. You'll appreciate that racing. There's good driving from Joe LaCour there, holding him off for that long. Zvonimir Burek in 5th. That's a good finish from him. Some good points. Felina, final corner. Daniel Smith right behind him. Felina just not going to make no mistakes here. And he does just that. So he takes 6th spot coming around the final corner. Daniel Smith in 7th. Dean Thompson will come home in 8th. I think looks like John Clements there gets 9th, just ahead of. Oh, there we are. Nice sliding on the finish line. Just ahead of Cumberbatch. Matt Acton in 11th. So did gain a couple of positions. Franco Sousange down in 12th. We've got Rhys Williams 13th. There he goes. I think there might have been a little bit of an incident towards the end. Sebastian Bush in 14th and then Aidan Bro. Very rarely will he ever be the last man over the line. But again, fair play to him there. He's driven no one for the entire race, but he has got that home and he has took the points. Fair play to him. I can see Sebastian say before the race, just passed me straight away, Aid. But yeah, clearly it didn't work. So something happened to Aid there, didn't it? Something not right for Aid to end up at the back and that far off the pack within about half a lap. So something clearly happened, or he had an issue. But yeah, great drive from LaCour and Sharp. Sharp not the driver to sort of go for something stupid. And LaCour just defended beautifully. It's so easy to go defensive and start costing yourself heaps of time. But he was defending beautifully, just making sure when he came out of those corners, he kept it planted. He had as much momentum as possible. You get a bit wiggly out of a turn when you're being defensive. That's you done. As long as the car behind's got a good drive, you've lost a position. No, so superb driving there from Lucas. That's a fair play to him. So we'll be into qualifying at number 2 very, very shortly. Hopefully we'll see some more good racing like we did there. You can see the gap in the end, just under 6 seconds between Vertza and Simmons. Another 8 seconds back to Joe LaCour and Kieran Sharp. Burek a couple of seconds back, and then 14 seconds back to that pack behind them, which was Ivan Svalina, Daniel Smith, Dean Thompson, John Clements, Dean Cumberbatch. There's actually not many gaps there, really, of more than a second, half a second in that mid-pack. So there's some good fights going all the way through. That's what the GT4s are usually able to provide.
Green light, go, go, go.
So there we go. They are off into quality number 2. Let's get back out on track. When will they pass? Well, they come out the pit lane. There we go. So yeah, I'm sure there's a few incidents from that first race we'll get to see later on. What my thing's not. Hang on, let me see if it works. Let me go back to the garage and go back out. Where is it? Timetables, no. Drive, there we go. So, yeah, another 10 minutes. Let's wait a few minutes, obviously, for those lap times to come in. About 4 minutes out of qualifying before we have any representative times to start judging. So trying to sort themselves out on their out laps. Want to give himself enough space. You've got to be careful. You've got to make sure you're giving each other enough time. Aidan Rowe behind Joe LaCour at the moment. Kieran Sharp up the road. So some quick drivers here. But he's not going to want to get stuck right behind him coming into the start of a quali lap, because Joe LaCour will have right of way. Very much so have right of way. Aidan will not be able to overtake him. Will not be able to race him. So he's better giving himself some room here. Yeah, just a little bit of space like that. I mean, Joe LaCour's not going to... He shouldn't be catching Joe LaCour terribly hugely, so I think this should be enough of a gap between the two. Headlights on, showing me his business. Does have to be careful though, cars behind, so should have enough pace to stay in front. So I should start to see some lap times coming in very shortly. Next 20-30 seconds or so. Usual suspects will be at the front, I imagine. Interesting to see if Clements can make up for that unlucky race for race number 1. So Matt Acton will be hoping for better. Tim and Aidan obviously didn't get to qualify at all. So he'll be hoping for... Well, obviously he should be relatively near the front. Was championship leader coming into this evening. First lap time there. Lucas Vertzor, 1:55.02. So a cracking lap already. So let's see what Aidan can do. Got Joe LaCour and Kieran Sharp ahead as well. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times they set. Joe LaCour 8/10 back. No, Kieran Sharp and Aidan not setting lap times though, so must have been validated somewhere. So they go again. Dean Thompson in with a solid lap there, 1:51.8. Get the time in. John Clements coming over the line. Pops it into third, 1:51.447. Daniel Smith coming around the final corner as well. In the Picky Porsche. Bush puts in a time as well. That's Smith there. Not with a valid lap, so he'll go again. Yeah, it's quite a long lap. It's about 3 laps long. So Aidan still to set a lap time, Mr. Smith. So good to see him getting quicker and quicker again. You know how quick Mr. Daniel Smith used to be. Many moons of running OTL and hosting leagues and doing all sorts of admin stuff. That yeah, it takes it out of you a bit quickly. So yeah, he's still getting back up to the speed I know he has. I mean, these guys at the front are really, really fast, like probably alien fast. So wouldn't judge those too much. Shop with a little bit of a drag there from Joe LaCour. Joe LaCour very nicely moving out of the way. Bit of not teamwork necessarily, but yeah, thought he'd help a brother out there by the looks of things. Sean Simmons, oh look at that, 24 thousandths of a second off the back of Lucas Vertzor. Aidan Rowe does get a good lap time in, 1/4 of a second off of pole. So 3.5 tenths between the top 4 currently. Joe LaCour, as we saw pulled aside earlier on, so he'll have effectively an out lap and then he'll have a go at his own lap. Yeah, it's a cracking track. It's just superbly done as well, as everything is on here. John Clements at the moment, 9/10 off and in the pits. So he needs to leave the pits and get an out lap soon to have one more go. Yeah, I'll sound like a chipmunk at 2 times speed. So Sean Simmons in the pits, that will probably be him done then. He'd have to leave the pits very shortly to get another lap time in, but I don't think he will. So come around to set another lap time. Oh, Leclerc going wide there. So it might have been validated. No one near the front up on their best lap at the moment. Daniel Smith is though. Let's go on board with him for a little while. Coming down the hill. Fair bit off the pace at the moment, though. A few tenths up as it stands. Always gaining time. So Sean Simmons is done. Joe Leclerc is done. They are finished for quali. They will be 2nd and 6th at best. Matt Acton starting from the back. Clearly got caught up in some stuff in that race and doesn't fancy getting caught up in it this race, I think. So 1.7 off now, not too bad. Most of the quick guys, as you can see, in the pits, clearing sharp, still out on track. Not gaining on his lap time though, actually. He's a good chunk down now, so I wouldn't be surprised if he abandons lap. Nearly half a second down now. Done very well, 1.5 tenths off of Lucas, that's no mean feat. But yeah, just using that as a bit of practice now more than anything else. Kind of final couple of corners. Lucas out on track as well. And there's also a couple of tenths up on his best time. So is he still pushing to improve? He is by the looks of things. So will he just rub salt into the wounds of everyone else out on track? Comes around the penultimate turn. Uses that curb lovely as well. Just a nice little bump but nothing too much. Checkered flag is out. Oh dear, so this is going to make them feel all terribly inferior. So 150.502 is his current best lap. He's actually lost tenths around that last corner, but he will still bring it down to a 150.151. So nearly 4 tenths clear of the 2nd place driver. Great driving there from Vertsa, really showing how good he is. Especially at the end of qualifying as well. I do like drivers that are able to just bring it home at the end even quicker. Just improve and improve and improve. Not sure this car's got enough lights. Just wanted to cover it in them, I reckon, by the end. So wouldn't need to improve by much, John Clements, to gain a spot. Will he gain any time at all? Oh, he does. So just a few thousandths of improvement there. He's literally improved by 0.015, I think. And he's gained 2 spots up to 5th. So well done there, John. That will help. So just a few less cars to have to try and overtake at the start. So he pops up into 5th. So just Franco Souzange. We find him. There he is. Lovely livery. The Aston Martin. And Dean Cumberbatch in the Audi, who looks like he is done. Or he's approaching a very slow corner. No, he's finished. So Franco will need a couple of tenths to improve over Reese, the next car ahead of him, and 8 tenths to improve even further forward. So no, fair play. Just having a quick look there, you can see there Aiden's pedals weren't mapped. So that'll explain what happened in race number 1 and a few other indiscretions as you may have read in that chat there. But yeah, it's nice if people didn't whinge in that chat, but hey ho, never going to stop it. Everyone's human, I suppose. So there we go, Lucas Verza. Not the fastest first sector again, but rapid sectors 2 and 3. Right, let's get... No, that's this way. Why it won't let me drive in the menu, but will let me use that one. Who the hell knows? So yes, Aiden up into 4th. So we'd expect him to be near the front. That's where he belongs. That's where he usually is. Not often you see him somewhere else. So 2.5 minutes of doing not very much at all. Nice view of this. It's a nice view of the number 11, number 14 in 11th. White, red, and black number. Very nice. Boy Helicam though. Nice array of cars there. GT4 is very nicely balanced. The fight. I mean, you do get your quicker cars, and you know if you can handle them, then fair enough. But a bit of everything. 3 Porsches, 5 Astons, I think. 3 Audis, 2 Alpines, a BMW, 1 McLaren. So yeah, nice spread of cars. Not just say everyone picking one of 2. Gives it a nice bit of variety. So 30-minute races, half an hour, twice as long. Hopefully Joe Decor and Kieran Sharp can have a sort of fighting they were doing just then. Joe Decor down in 6th, though, got John Clements and Aidan Bro in between them. So minute left to go. And let's see how this fares. 30 seconds left now. Everyone just making sure they are ready. Not too much, I think, that they'll be doing setup-wise. Every car looks on track there. Doesn't look like they're floating around on their on the jack. Oh, there we go. Apart from Kieran Sharp, it's been dropped back down onto the tarmac. And here we go. So Verza again leading us away on the left-hand side. There's the BMW of Sean Simmons. On the right-hand side, he'll have Aidan Bro just behind him and Kieran Sharp back and left. You've got John Clements and Joe Lecor, row number 3. That is an interesting line being driven there. Really has floored it a bit early, but he'll get slotted back in position. I think that was either Dean Thompson or Rhys Williams. I think it might have been Dean Thompson. So they come around the final corner. They're going to have to very much catch up there. That's interesting looking there. If that's what his widget's telling him to do, we're going to about to get loads of penalties. Very weird. So Sean Simmons has been told by the game to floor it, go miles forward, and it hasn't penalised him. That's very interesting. So yeah, the game's had a bit of a fit there. So Sean Simmons benefiting there from a bit of a game nightmare. So it'll be very interesting to find out why they were allowed to do that. But that does mean Sean Simmons is able to take advantage. Come around into turn number 2. Kieran Sharp looking at the back of Sean Simmons. Sean Simmons there. It looks like it, to be honest. That almost looks like he's let him back in front, which is very sporting if he has done. But I'd be tempted to do the same myself because I'd know that wasn't what I should have done. That shouldn't have been where I started. So yeah, I actually think he's let Luca back in front there. Lucas passed him. So fair play if he has. Let's go a bit further back. So Rhys Williams at the front of this pack. He's got Svelina behind him. The picky Porsche of Smith. We've got Franco Susange. And Cumberbatch just behind. Where's Daniel Smith? Here we are. So Susange and Cumberbatch. Oh, a little tap out wide there. Cumberbatch has to rejoin nice and safely. Does though. So won't be too happy at that little tap wide. $11 Cross, thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good day. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Let's go on board with Lucas for a little bit. Safe Space Racing as well. Thank you very much for the follow. Hope you are doing well too. So it looks like a clean start from everybody. First lap. Saying that, we've got a yellow flag out now, so hopefully that's not an incident. But I think it might be. I think I spoke too soon, Rhys Williams. And that looks like... So now I think that might be a few cars just having their own incident there. It's interesting the broadcasting talk here. It'll say accident, but sometimes it's just the car going, disappearing off into the gravel on its own. So, yeah, down in 13th, Max and just behind him. So they have had a couple of moments. They were a little bit astray from the rest of the pack. Sebastian Busch off the back as well. So still going though, so not had the best opening lap for him. Everyone else still fairly close. So Verts are leading the way. Sean Simmons and Aidan Bro in close contention. Oh, that looked like a car disappearing off to the left. So that looked like John Clements not having a good night, poor thing. Yeah, that looked like getting a slam into the wall. I suspect he might have just lost it there off of the curb. Let's have a look. So this is going to go a fair bit back. So apologies for the massive space here. But we will see something in the end. Let's go on cameras TV1. Thank you very much for the 25 cheers, Safe Space Racing. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's just got on the grass and oh, that is gonna, yeah, that's gonna cause a bit of damage. If he's, hopefully for him, he's got very lucky there, and that's hit nice and square. And if at least he's damaged the front end, hopefully he's damaged both sides equally. But from that doesn't look like it. So you'd imagine that'd be steering like a, well, like a crab at the moment. Yeah, so that's gutting. That's a massive shame. Just want, we know he's got the pace, just not had the luck this championship. He's had a drive through for the start in one race, along with the other two in the top three, so that was fun. All three in the start of the race. And we've completely peaked on. Evening, Rob. Evening. How are you doing, man? Hope you've had a good day so far. But yeah, John Clements, unfortunately, just not getting the rub of the green, it seems, at the moment. Lucas Vertsa, just under a second ahead of the rest. Remember, half an hour long race, so fair bit more racing than race number one. Let's go on board Daniel Smith further back in 10th. Just in, Tool said he'd had an incident, but I think it's a bit of rubbing with another car. Again, can never tell if it's if they've actually had an incident with another car or they just had two people who have gone off at the same corner, separate of each other. So it's always worth checking to see if one of them's upside down, because you never know, frankly. Let's go on board with Kieran Sharp. Beautiful looking thing. Aidan Bro just in front. Joe LaCour behind him. So roles reversed there. Joe LaCour 1.7 seconds back actually. You can see there's quite a gap. But he's got Aidan just in front. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon in Kyalami in South Africa. So using as much of the road as he can. He knows all the guys in front of him are very quick. All that BMW hopping as much curb as it could. Sean Simmons always looking very controlled in that Beamer as well. Always looks like he's got it at hand. Not a Larry style driver, not aggressive. Just very controlled and quick. And it's been great to watch him driving so far in this championship. But Aidan Bro wants that second spot off him. Kieran Sharp, Joe LaCour. Let's go on board with Joe LaCour actually, see that gap. So yeah, it's quite sizable. Chunk of space between the two of them really, for him to close in on that fight from second to fourth. And then Burek, so yeah, Burek right in behind him. John Clements not far back as well, so hopefully John Clements has got away with that there and not ended up with loads of damage. Oh, we've got Dan Cumberbatch back in 14th now, so I think he's had an off himself. So quite close mid-pack as always. So let's go back on board with the leader. Lucas Vertsa, 1.4 seconds. So you can see a bit of a gap. Looks comfortable enough, but after the first 6 minutes. He definitely hasn't driven away. Those guys behind him are definitely close enough. If he was to make any half significant mistake, those three behind him would pounce. Hayden putting a solid performance in so far. Very unlucky start of race number 1 with his pedals not being mapped, having just got in after his disconnecting quali. But fair play to him, did the whole race, just drove around on his own, but picked up good points out of Sean Simmons after I praised him for being so consistent. Fair play, don't think Simmons knows that. Kieran Sharp doing what I would do there, just moves over just to try and give Simmons a bit of space to rejoin the track. But completely fair play to Simmons. He didn't want to just floor it back on track. He knew he wanted to keep that nice and consistent and not jerk the wheel one or the other or suddenly floor it. Just wanted to keep the car moving stably in one direction there and didn't try and rejoin the track quickly. So again, shows the man's mettle there, good decision making, and he's still only just behind Kieran Sharp, so he hasn't lost out that badly. Hayden now up to second now, so trying to close that gap back on Lucas Verza. It's up to 2 seconds now, so we'll do well to bring that down. It's always great watching different manufacturers as well. Top 4 Aston, Audi, Porsche, BMW. So top 5, five different manufacturers. But we all know how quick Hayden is. Seen him racing everywhere and being fast for years now. But many good drivers to mix it with him nowadays. Lucas going a bit wide there. Either he's using more of the track than those guys know they can use, or he is actually making a little bit of a mistake at that corner. So 2.1 seconds at the moment, so he's fairly comfortable. Little puff of smoke there, you see that? So he's going off a few times here, so he's got to be careful. That gap it's decent, but it's nothing really to write home about. It's gone under 2 seconds again, so yeah, comfortable for now, but still got nearly 22 minutes to go. So just needs to play it sturdy, not try anything silly. Doesn't have to push too hard. He's got a nice comfortable lead. Just take it steady, keep your rhythm. Well, Hayden getting a bit slidey there into the entrance in the S's. And coming up to the top of the hill again, coming up to Leah Cup. And again, so very tidy from Kieran Sharp behind him. Hayden goes a bit wider, but that probably gives him a slightly straighter line out with that slight left-hand kink coming onto the straight. Coming down in towards the Crocodiles. Still probably one of my favourite corner names of all time. How can it not be? So let's try and keep him nice and close at the moment. Bro, Sharp and Simmons. I'm suspecting this fight will go on for some time yet. Lecor using all of the road and a bit of the gravel. I think that McLaren's good on gravel. I'm not sure that's the quickest line. Burek right in behind him. John Clements. So must have got away with murder, frankly, when he hit the ball that hard at that angle earlier. I'm massively surprised that car isn't handing like a bag of spanners. He said something else there, but realised spanners was a better choice. Peggy 3. I don't know what Peggy rating this game has, but yeah. Try and keep it vaguely family friendly. Svelina nearly 6 seconds back, all fighting with Daniel Smith. Actually, Smith around the outside on the inside of the right hand. Svelina will need to slot in. It's good driving there from Daniel Smith. Try and keep it nice and tidy out of the left hand. Svelina will just slot in though. He's got plenty of time to try and fight back. Having a look. Doesn't do anything about it yet though. He'll wait and see. Again, plenty of time in this race to be raced, so you don't need to be going for anything too early, too panicky. Or a little bit loose there, so it has to be careful. So go back on board with Kieran Sharp here, still fighting Aidan Bro. So as he was behind Lecor, the blue car in race 1 is behind another blue car in race 2. So when will Kieran Sharp trying to make a move? So he's not one to dive, he just ends up tries to wait for mistakes. Well, that's a fair bit of curb there, cocking his leg up in the air. Okay, not the quickest way around there, but kept it nice and tidy still, didn't lose control of the car. Starting at lap number 6. 3.3 seconds now the lead for Lucas, so he's starting to pull away. He's putting in a few tidy laps in consecutively now. Good half a second quicker than every other car on track. We are on board with the next fastest. So Bro and Sharp lapping in the very late 150s, the 159s, early 150.9s. Sean Simmons in the very low 151s, 151 zeros. I think, oh, the Bush is in the pits, it looks like, so I'm not sure if he was having an issue or maybe repairing damage, not sure. Rhys Williams and Cumberbatch further back, I think they had a bit of a moment not too long ago. They are quite close to each other still. Might have just been a door tap, so it might be nothing too bad. Any contact registers on this app, so yeah. Scares you that you think everything's a crash. It's like, no. It's like bumper touch, and that was it. So we come around Leah Cup again, so you can see that lead, pretty significant still. Kieran Sharp in this blue car sandwich. So Sean Simmons after that mistake earlier, he's doing well, not trying too hard here, just keeping a good rhythm still. So Kieran Sharp wanting to find a way past Aiden, but not found one as of yet. Aiden doing a good job of keeping him behind. So very experienced drivers, both of them. Do have to be careful though, too much fighting between them and Sean Simmons will just push back onto the rear of this pack. And yeah, it'll be a three-way fight again. I mean, it's pretty close as you can see already. The closer Kieran Sharp gets to Aiden Bro, the quicker Sean Simmons will be back on the back of both of them, frankly. He's basically there already. Burak as well, slightly further back, just behind Joe LaCour at the moment. Sebastian Bush gets stop go, 30-second penalty, so that would have been speeding out the pit lane, so he's probably got a load of damage repaired, now he's got a stop go. So one of those races for Seb, unfortunately, as is sometimes the way. So nearly halfway through this second race of the evening. So a couple of fights still going on through the grid. Ivan Svelina down in 11th. Not far back from Franco Susange. Don't think I'm saying his name right. Might probably just... yeah, I'll have to ask him one day. He hasn't told me it was wrong yet and he's been here a while, so I would hope I'm getting close. So those two fighting... having a fairly decent race so far. Dean Thompson up in 8th. Solid drive from him so far. Not too much of a gap between him and the cars up front. Ed Castercoo, hello. Thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. Evening Fish. There's only 17 signed up. And they're saying that. Oh, Thompson makes a mistake. That's why though, to not spin that round. So still going. John Clements as well somehow still running considering that massive crash he had earlier. Not too much damage either. Let's go back up that fight, that three-way fight, still as they were, as I expected to be honest. But yeah, there were 17 signed up. So Bullwinkle and one other that would normally race tonight that signed up and reacted affirmative but did not make it. I think the others was Jonas. So yeah, not sure. And a few that have done the rest of the races, I think tonight might have just been a bit like you wouldn't be able to make it. JD wasn't able to make it. Leg wasn't able to make it. Like there's, you know, it's one. Lee wasn't able to make it. So there's, yeah, could easily have had 19, 20, I think. So it might just be one of those unfortunate ones. I'm not sure. We'll see next week. Anyone who's just repeatedly not showing up and not telling us, we'll just chuck out. They just won't be able to race next week either. Well, we just won't let them race at all if they're just not showing up and not telling us. But yeah. Now a few of them, you know, life's life, isn't it? People will miss races. It's only natural. Sometimes, you know, you can't just make them. It's not. They're not getting paid to do it. So these three now very, very close. Well, Kieran, no, that has left him open. No, that fighting, trying to overtake Aidan in front has left him vulnerable to Sean Simmons behind. And I think Sean Simmons, no, he doesn't quite have that inside line. I thought he might have had a wheel alongside, but no, he does not. Yeah, it's a good track this. Good track. Kieran had a little bit loose there. What will Sean be able to do? Got to go a little bit defensive now. But yeah, first race, Joe Lecor and Kieran Sharp had a great race. Joe just in front of him and Kieran just couldn't get past. Stayed that way for about 10 minutes and that's how it finished. And these three having a good fight this race as well. They're just letting Lucas disappear off into the sunset. Ahead of them, what is the gap now? 5.5 seconds. So yes, another really good drive from Lucas. These three slightly spread out now, just a little bit. You can hear Lucas disappearing off. You can hear the sound of his car just ahead, as those guys were a little bit further back. A little bit slidey there from Kieran. So, and it looks like Aidan's just broken that chain a little bit now. Sean with a little bit of a kick up of dust in the background. Yeah, you can see now, look, 1.2 seconds off. Simmons going a bit wide though. So they're all making mistakes. Nearly 20 minutes in to this 30-minute race number 2. And those mistakes just a little bit more prevalent now than, say, you would have seen in the first race. Now these GT4s always do this, to be fair, and GT3s did the same plenty of times as well. You get those few drivers you know are just similar pace, and they always seem to end up very close to each other. They're always consistently near each other. Well, Kieran going a bit wide there. Sean looking like he nails it in that Beamer. Flying round that corner. So Kieran is going to be vulnerable now, I think. Sean Simmons, yeah, has just not been able to get close enough coming down the end of that straight. Just look at on board from him though. You can see that gap now up to Aidan in second. It's a good gap. So Aidan disappearing off a little bit into the distance here. Second place looking like it might be his. Yeah, Sean just making a little mistakes there. Just a bit too much grass. Again, he goes on slightly on the grass on the right. Just means he isn't able to quite hit the apex. Just maybe loses him another 10th here or there. And look, that gap now up to Sharpie is a full second. So just simple things like that really do add up very quickly. Yeah, I was going to say, the tyres start to go off that last 10 minutes especially. Very interesting. You can see some people's times just drop off a cliff. And it depends how hard they push that first 10 minutes as well. So Aidan a bit off into distance now. Quite a few gaps throughout the grid. Ivan Svalina and Susam is probably the closest gap at the moment. And you have Matt Axon as well with Reece Williams, so further back. Neither of them had a particularly fine race this race. You can see Reece's car a bit battered again, so he's not having a good fun time of things. I've saw a couple of his comments in the game chat, so he was an unhappy chappy after race number 1, so I think there will probably be some incidents being reported, as they should be as well, and as I would like them to be. You know, that's what they're there for. We want to nail out that crap driving and get rid of it. And we can only do that if people are reporting incidents. We are not the eyes in the sky. We are not able to see everything. So Kieran Sharp's car looking nice and clean still, but that Beamer right behind him wants a piece of him. So if you back up the hill there. See Sean Simmons there. Kieran Sharp I don't think going too defensive quite yet, but yeah, if he gets a poor run out of a corner, you'll see him start to go very defensive, getting the elbows out, going very shallow entry lines. But at the moment, gap's just big enough to know that Sean won't go for anything. I think he's also judging the fact he's not really seen Sean be that kind of driver, which does matter. It definitely matters. Knowing what the driver behind you is like, what they're more likely to do. Simmons going wide there. Just keep more momentum, I think. Kept his foot in it. You can see that Sebastian Bush in the foreground. I think it's about to be lapped. Being lapped by Lucas Fertzer. Go back to LaCour. Where's LaCour? So just back here. So John Clements 6 seconds up the road from him now. Chunky sounding McLaren. I don't think he's got any damage. Car just sounds that bad, unfortunately. But yeah, back in 6th. So more good points, but not quite what we was hoping for. Not quite the race number 2. He was crossing his fingers for at the start. Got Dean Cumberbatch in the pits as well. Looks like he's coming back out, so probably 4 damage. Back on board, we've got to stay with these two, that fight between these two. So is that car behind them? Oh, that is Bush, they've just lapped. Okay, didn't see the purple or gold. I think I'm going blind. So Sean Simmons. So this is very much getting what Kieran Sharp got last race behind Joe LaCour. So the gap, that's very little gap, but just not something really where he's able to make anything of this and get past. Kieran not making any mistakes. Tyres will start going off on all of the cars now though. So the inconsistencies will start to come in. You can see there Kieran using more of the track then than Sean, so that might be Sean feeling less comfortable with the car. You can see how hard he pushes wide on that final corner, so he clearly knows you can go that wide and not suffer from it. Gets the slams on the anchors nice and late, but yeah, still struggling to just really latch on. Can't get close enough to make a move, or at least start making Sharp panic. Aidan Bro's up the road, driving a few good laps here, catching up on Lucas, but a little bit too slowly, I think, to catch him. Oh, Sebastian Bush getting a face full of wall in the background. That would have hurt. Doing a John Clements there, unfortunately. We've seen a couple of people do that tonight. Guaranteed to give you a headache. How did football go tonight, Fish, though? Your knees not blown up like last time, I hope? If not, let's call it a success. So you see Aidenborough just a bit up the road there from these two. Unlikely they'll catch him unless he makes a gargantuan error of his own. Just over 6 minutes to go now. Scramble with Lucas Wetzer just for a little bit. So the Austrian. Gap of nearly 5 seconds back to Aidan. Aidan, you can see in the background there. Come around to start lap number 13. Get very close to the ball. Yeah, very consistent is Lucas. Doesn't look like he's really ragging the car much. Just putting it exactly where it needs to go. Clearly that Aston's a solid GT4 car, very solid GT4 car, and he gets on very well with it. Aidan driving superbly in 2nd. You can see Sharp and Simmons back in 3rd and 4th, just behind him. John Clements still on for some points. In 5th spot at the moment. Joe LaCour at 4.3 back from him, down in 6th. Got Dean Thompson and Daniel Smith 7th and 8th. Got Franco, Svalina and Burex. As Burex dropped down here, so Burex definitely made a significant mistake at some point. So has he had his own off? Or, cause, yeah, 11th spot now. No, just his second race just hasn't gone quite the way his race number 1 went, so unfortunately he's just not been able to gain those places like he did in race number 1. And behind these guys, yeah, you've got a fair few gaps after that, unfortunately. Acton, Williams, Cumberbatch and Bush. Not gone for them this week. Svalina there and Burek going a bit wider. Slightly different line from Franco, but it seems to work for them. Once Svalina maybe looking up the inside. Franco getting a bit loose on that outer curb. Well, it turns in a bit there on Svalina. I don't think there's anything wrong on Svalina's part there. It didn't look like a dive bomb to me. I think he was there early. I think Franco's maybe just gone to turn in a bit tight, and there was a green and black car already there. Very much goes for the apex though, and fair play to Sfalina, he's left the room for him there. Bit of a dive, little bit of a dive, I think, from Frank, but nothing too bad. But he made it work. He hit the apex nicely. Sfalina has opened his wheel a bit and just made sure he left him enough room, and that has meant Frank's got back ahead. And Burek behind them. A little bit of a grass on the inside. Is he going to try and take them both? Well, take both out if he'd have gone any further left. Deary dear. Yeah, so that's, I don't know if that was a hit in the grass early coming down the hill that did that, but yeah, that was nearly a nailed-on incident report. So let's go back up to the fighting we saw earlier. So Edinburgh in second, comfortably in second, now nearly 6 seconds back from Mr. Lucas Verza in first. Unluckily he'll be caught now. Only just over 3 minutes remaining. Kieran Sharp has broken Sean Timmins a bit though, 1.6 seconds that gap now. Sean Timmins with that poor lap last lap was a 52.6 compared to the 51.2 of Kieran Sharp, so you can see relatively they've dropped back like a stone. 1.6 now, it was only a couple of tenths. Just before we came to them, oh, Sharp getting a little bit loose there, just using it to get turned in a little bit. So nice and controlled. Well, we hope anyways. Hopefully he's not sliding that and all accidentally. Hopefully that is on purpose. Yeah, just over 2.5 minutes to go now. Back on board with that fight with Daniel Smith. And Dean Thompson just in front of him there. So the fight for 7th position. Thompson got a little bit wide. Top of the hill. Smith hitting that nicely. Hopefully get a good drive down the hill. So he goes for that shallower line, doesn't go all the way out wide, comes in slightly narrower, but he's still able to make it work. You've got the fight we were watching a little bit earlier, Sfalina and Burek and Franco at the front. Sfalina, the Croat, in 10th in the middle. And then Svanomir, another Croat. So where's Franco from? It's Croats, they're all Croats, it's just a Croat trio. I did suddenly, as soon as I said one, I was like, hang on a minute, they're all from the same country, how weird. So the Croatians 9th, 10th and 11th. And driving well at the moment, there's some good fighting between them. Just a minute and a bit left now though of our final race of the evening. So it's round number 4, next week penultimate week. Round number 5 that is at Hungaroring. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare round there. It's no Kyalami, that's for sure. But Lucas Verza has driven superbly. I think he'll have one more lap after this. Yeah, just about. He will have one more lap to go after this. A bit of contact between Susange and Sfalina, I think. Again, it might just be people having their own offs. It's hard to tell this game in the way the broadcasting tool works. Susange and Burek 9th, 10th, Sfalina 11th, and the black and green
Right, man. The leader is on the final lap. Give it a
Audi.
final push.
So there we go, last lap, Verza crosses the line. A bit much like the first race with 10 seconds to go. Initiating the final lap. Aiden 6.6 seconds back, Kieran Sharp another 2.4. He's now got a lead of 1.7 over Sean Simmons. So the front guys spread out a little bit now. Pretty much consolidating the positions they already have. So there are some fights happening still. We'll come back on board with these guys in a little bit. Joe LaCour closing up to the back of John Clements. And some good pace here from LaCour at the end of the race. John Clements lost nearly a second to LaCour on that last lap. So can LaCour get close enough to genuinely try and make a move on this final time round? So closely, but not closely enough to be able to really make a move or anything. That's just coming to the top of the hill. Coming fast at a lap car, I think that's Cumberbatch. Maiden just coming up to the hill as well. It's your Sharp just behind him, Simmons as well. And then we had that fight, another 10 or 11 seconds back. LaCour and Clements for 5th and 6th. Then you've got Thompson and Daniel Smith. Thompson still holding on for 7th at the moment. Driving well. Then you've got Franco in 9th. Svalina there in 10th. So back ahead of Burek. Burek now down in 11th. I'll come back into pit, so I think his race is run. Matt Acton 12th, Rhys Williams in 13th, and then behind Cumberbatch is Bush in 15th. So let's go on board. There we are, just about time that as well. Deary, he's that far ahead. Mr. Versa comes over the line for another superb race win, completely dominant this evening. Aidan Bro with a 2nd position though, he'll be happy with that. Well done to him. Kieran Sharp, another podium position. Sean Simmons off the podium this time, but still a very, very solid fight from him. Up for 4th. John Clements in 5th. Joe LaCour, can he nip him around the final turn? He can't. John Clements takes 5th. A few more points, a bit of redemption for this evening. Joe LaCour in 6th. Dean Thompson will just hold off with Daniel Smith for 7th. Mr. Smudge coming home in 8th spot. Franco Susange, Svalina and Burek a little bit further back, so they've just coming up to the final corner now. Svalina maybe was having a look there, but I don't think even he was that ambitious. So he'll come around the final corner. Susange takes 9th. Svalina, well, he'll come home in 11th, so he's made a mistake last few corners. Burek has got past him, even though that gap was quite big half a lap ago. But yeah, Burek gets in front for that top 10 spot. Svalina takes 11th in the end. Matt Acton flinging it around in the Aston. Just a few more corners to go. So yeah, not gone his way tonight. Not sure if he's been getting involved in incidents, making his own mistakes, mixed of both. Hates the track, not sure. Yeah, man, PT very good, solid drive as well. It's very, very solid drive. To be able to, you ought to be consistent to even give yourself the opportunity to drive away near the end. So fair play to him. Cheers, Rob. No worries, man. Cheers for tuning in. Really appreciate that. Catch you soon. So Matt comes over the line, and I think Cumberbatch now he's in the pits, so this might be interesting because technically he hasn't. We're gonna have to wait. They're gonna have to wait for whatever the finish timer is. It's probably like 3 minutes. So effectively that is us done. Let's go back to the timetables. So there we go. 7.7 seconds. The finishing gap between Versa and Bro, 1st and 2nd. Sharpie another 1.5 back in 3rd. Good drive from him. There 1.6 further back was Sean Simmons in his BMW M4. Another good drive from him. John Clements in the Alpine A110 or A110, if you will. Another 11 seconds back to quite a gap. Just holding off Joe LaCour in the McLaren. Right at the end for 6th. Dean Thompson in 7th in the Vantage. Just ahead of Smith in the Porsche. Susan's beating Burek both in the Aston to 9th and 10th near at the end as well. So a couple left there. So hopefully we did get the positions before they all decided to hop out. Let's get back to the timing. There we go. Oh, can I get replay? Does mine auto save? I think mine auto saves now. Let's risk it. Let's risk it for a chocolate biscuit. There we go. Timetables. There we go. Yeah, so hopefully this will be correct now, even despite someone leaving. So yeah, Susange 9th. Burek getting ahead of Svalina on that last lap there. Svalina ending up in 11th. But good driving from all 3 of them. Some good fighting between the Croats. Yeah, cheers Rapids. I appreciate it, man. Really appreciate the follow and tuning in. So I hope you enjoyed that. Matt Acton in 12th. Rhys Williams in 13th. Not having a fun night tonight, unfortunately. Didn't come back in 14th. Technically, I don't think he's quite finished yet. We'll have to wait for the timer to run out. And Sebastian Bush, unfortunately, down in 15th, rounding out the order. Evening, dude. Evening, Empower. Yes, very well driven tonight, mate. Very, very well driven. So, yes, there's quickest in free practice, quickest in quali. Won the race. Pole again. Won the race. Boring. It must be boring to be that. Yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, that's a fair point. You did say you were quite good round here. Yeah, I forgot that comment, and you were blimmin' right, weren't you? Dear oh dear. But yes, top, still top, 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 more top. If you want, you can do free practice 2 in a minute and win that as well. But yeah, some very, very, very good driving. Yeah, good. There's some good fighting there, Smudge. It's fun to watch. That does help. I think not everyone had that luck, unfortunately, tonight. I think a few of them did get hit. So I see a few incident reports in our future. Well, not your future, lucky thing, just mine and other admins. But yeah, some good fighting there. what was the quickest? Doesn't tell us the quickest lap, which is a bit of a bummer. But you can see the quickest laps in quali. 150.1 was just sensational. I think that was the quickest lap of the night. Yeah, 150.151. Scary speed, really. Scary speed. But yeah, it was great to watch. So yeah, we'll be interested next week. Hungaroring. In the way, it doesn't tell. Why it can't just give you that? And I know there's different, you know, it's slightly different, but yeah, fairly certain you've probably, let's be honest, you've probably got the quickest lap in the race. You probably have. I'll be surprised if you haven't. If you put a lap in anything like you can do in the race, sorry, like you did in quali, then yeah, it will be you, because your best lap is about 3 or 4 tenths quicker than everyone else's. So yeah, we will see though. We will see. But yeah, there was interesting racing tonight. Good fun track to stream on that for sure, and good fun to drive for those that are used to the track. I think a few maybe a little unfamiliar with it this evening, but yeah, they're more familiar with it now than they were at the start of the night. So there is that redeeming feature. So yes, next week Hungaroring for the penultimate round. Where's round number 6? Let's check. That's at Zolder, so that'll be fun. That can only go well. But yes, Hungaroring next week for the penultimate round. Same format again. That should be good. Tomorrow is the start of our Race Room WTCR League. First time we've done the WTCR. Round number 1 at Brands Hatch Indy. So yeah, we've done Brands Hatch a fair bit in other races. And interesting, gone for a similar format to what we see on Xbox Project Cars. We've gone for the 3 race format. Only the 1 quali though. So 1 10-minute qualifying, 15-minute race 1. They're all 15-minute 3 races, but the second and third races you don't have quali. You just have a top 8 reversed from race number 1. See how interesting to see how that fares. So I'll be back with you tomorrow night streaming that, and then I'll be back again next Tuesday streaming, hopefully as long as my internet doesn't die, round number 2 at Fuji of the Radical SR3 RS League on Project Cars 2 on Xbox. So yeah, there was some good racing on Tuesday, but unfortunately my internet died halfway through quali for race 2, so didn't get to see much of that. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some good racing there at Fuji, and then yes, back at Hungaroring here next Thursday for round number 5. Bummer. No worries, Smudge. Good racing tonight, dude. But yeah, so some great racing. Thank you very much to all that watched. Thank you for the new follows, and thank you for the new cheers. Really appreciated that. I really enjoyed the racing, but yeah, as I said, I really appreciate the follows and your eyes and ears for the evening. I do not take your time lightly at all, so thank you very much. Yeah, I will be back tomorrow for a bit of WTCR action on Racing, so very much looking forward to that. So hopefully you can join me then. But if not, have a fun weekend, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. But if not, I will catch you soon. So take care and goodbye.